Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you all so much for being on the latest episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. This is a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, reverse UGC, gaming concepts, and many other things I find to be in the same realm of business and creative ventures. Like always, first and foremost, a big thanks goes to my Patreon supporters who really and truly make this podcast possible. Without your generous and continuous monthly donations, I would not be able to continue making these episodes. So big thanks to all of you, and everyone else, please check out my Patreon supporters in the description below. Like I said, this episode is all about UGC or user generated content principles that are in play in a different type of game, a game that is actually not user generated content but a standalone series of games, which is Orcs Must Die. This gaming series began more than a decade ago. It began in 2011 and it became a series with several additions. I recently got a chance to play the third part, Orcs Must Die number 3, and I really liked it, especially because it really vibes well with the concepts that are user generated content. In my case, I'm really into and I'm following and I'm working on and in the Fortnite creative ecosystem, but the same applies to any other ecosystem that uses UGC principles. In this case, Orcs Must Die is a system that really vibes very well with user-generated content, being that it's set in an environment that feels like UGC. So basically you're a warrior that has to stop orcs from breaching through a castle, and to do that you have your match moment when you have a kind of a meta game where you set traps knowing the general directions that orcs are going to take, and then have the action part or the actual match where you have waves, you need to defend against them, and you have your action part when you play in third person. The first part is also in third person, but you play in third person with your kind of weapon and you basically kill off orcs before they can reach an exit point. So it's a reverse tower defense with a big addition of basically action gaming. Why is it very UGC friendly? Well, because it provides this kind of predefined setup of these levels that are basically interiors for most part, and at the same time you have this building element. In this case you're not actually building, you're just setting up traps, but it's still something that is easily replicatable, easily can be replicated in UGC environments. And on the other hand, you have your purely action part, which looks just like any other action game, like Fortnite, for example, Fortnite Battle Royale, where you simply have your character with their weapons and you take on your enemies. Now this combo of kind of very, let's call them shallow, but not in a derogatory sense, shallow gameplay mechanics where you align the two, so you're not actually building your base like in regular tower defense games, and you're not a fully developed action hero like in regular action games where you have loads of options, weapons and whatnot. You have both streamlined concepts, but when they come together you have a pretty rich gaming setup, and that setup is clearly something that the players enjoy, that is allowing Orcs Must Die to be successful, and also something that is really important for anyone who looks for possibilities or alternatives to work in the UGC space, or how to create games in the user-generated content, no matter is it Fortnite creative or is it Roblox or is it Minecraft or any other setup for UGC. These principles are very, very informative and very good to be used in your project as well. So what's the kind of takeoff or takeaway, better said, of this concept is that you use small doable mechanics, gameplay mechanics, then combine. So in the case of Orcs Must Die, you have your stripped down version of setting up traps or a metagame where you prepare your playing field, let's define it in that manner, and then you have your purely action part where you race against time, race against waves, try to survive and try to take down as many enemies as you can. Between that you have the ability to upgrade, buy new traps, buy new weapons, proceed through the gameplay levels, but these two elements in a small kind of a setup, small intensity frame, again I'm using terms that I'm inventing on the spot, but I think they're applicable. In that setup you still get a really fun, engaging and an in-depth game, a game that feels in-depth even though it uses stripped down action and stripped down building or trap placement elements. That's really fun and really smart to apply in your UGC projects, because that way you can combine small things to get larger things, and these larger things together make pretty fun games like Orcs Must Die or any projects you might be developing in UGC systems, whether it's Fortnite Creative or something else. So think small, think modular, combine these into bigger stuff that revolves around simple principles. In the case of Orcs Must Die, it's just stop the waves, don't let orcs go through, and thus provides a lot of in-depth and more complex fun that's a lot bigger than its individual smaller elements. That's all for this episode. Hopefully you found it interesting, hopefully you found it useful and something that can kind of open up ideas for your projects. If you did, please consider supporting me through a range of means. Like I said, you have my Patreon page where you can become my Patreon supporter. You can become a channel member for my channel, that's also present here. You can check out my books on Amazon, which are from this point on all selling for just $1, including my best-selling book, which can help you overcome procrastination. Link is in the description below. And the cheapest, easiest, fastest way to support me is just to subscribe to my channel and be right here for my new videos. It costs nothing, it helps me a lot. So thank you so much for being here. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you in precisely 7 days from now on the new episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. Until then, bye bye.